Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into a really candid conversation. It pulls you right into the middle of a struggle, people dealing with a pretty major financial loss.
Yeah, and the source material is this unfiltered audio. It gives such a raw, personal look at what's going on.
So our mission here is to kind of unpack the layers of what's being called an investment scam, allegedly run by someone named Ghazala Din.
That's right. We're going to focus on, the huge challenges the victims are facing, trying to get their money back, how the story from the alleged perpetrator keeps changing, and what these victims are actually doing now to try and find some justice.
And that raw audio, it really puts Ghazala Din, or GD as she's called, right at the center. We're talking about a property investment scheme, supposedly.
And the amounts mentioned.
Well, they stretch into the millions, affecting quite a few people.
It really says a lot about trust, doesn't it? And deception, and just how hard it is to fight back when something like this happens. So let's try and piece together the timeline. One person in our source mentions getting involved with GD around July 2020.
Okay, mid-2020.
Yeah.
And how was the money changing hands? That stood out to me.
Well, it was a mix. Some bank transfers, but, and this is key, the source says most of it was cash. Specifically mentioned bundles of cash.
Bundles
If
cash
chance-
for potentially large investments. That immediately flags something, doesn't it? Sort of. Less traceable.
Exactly. It raises big questions about transparency right away. For the bank transfers we do hear about, the amount seems smaller, relatively speaking.
Like what sort of figures?
Well, about £5,000 for one person's daughter, maybe $2,000 or $3,000 for the individual speaker themselves, and then another person apparently put money in later, towards the end of 2020, early 2021.
Okay, so multiple people involved over several months, and the pitch was always property.
Yes, property-based. The idea was give money to GD's company, they buy properties, you get a return. Standard investment concept on the surface.
But then things started to go wrong. There's that specific promise mentioned.
Yes, the two houses. Allegedly, back in December, GD promised one investor she'd put two houses in their name. Kind of like insurance.
Insurance for their investment.
Yeah.
And she gave a time frame.
Said it would happen in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. That sounds definite.
It does, but it just didn't happen. The investor even says their lawyers confirmed it could be done immediately, like right now.
So why the delay? What was GD's reason?
Excuses. Claiming she was in hospital was one mentioned. And this investor, remember, had put in quite a lot of money, so you can imagine the anxiety building.
Absolutely. And that leads us straight into this constantly shifting narrative from Ghazala Din, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It wasn't just the missed deadline, it was the stories changing all the time.
Precisely. When people started asking for their money back or asking where it was, the reasons kept changing. They were often contradictory, too.
Like what? What was the first explanation?
Initially, it was apparently just that the investment flopped. She just didn't know what to do. Very vague.
Right. A bit passive. Then what?
Then the story allegedly changed. It became the other people have run away with the money, shifting the blame.
Okay, so first it flopped, then someone else ran off with it. What else?
Well, there were claims her bank account was seized or maybe frozen. Convenient timing, too.
How so?
Because there was apparently a court date looming. And around that time, she also claimed she was in hospital for a whole month. Couldn't answer calls or texts.
It does sound like stalling, like you said. Just trying to buy time.
Constantly pleading for more time, saying she needs time, promising she will pay back everybody.
And presenting herself as a victim in all this.
Yeah, that too. Reportedly, always praying, always crying, talking about tough times, being forced to leave the city. It's quite the performance, if the allegations are true.
But the logic, especially for property, it just doesn't hold up, does it?
Not really. As one of the speakers in the audio points out, quite sharply, actually.
What did they say?
They said if it was genuine, legit, they're buying the properties. So the physical properties are there, aren't they? So they're still there. So how can it flop? It's a very good question.
It really cuts through the excuses.
Yeah.
That kind of inconsistency, the shifting stories, it feels like a pattern.
It really does. It's often seen in alleged fraud cases. Keep changing the story, confuse people, wear them down, makes it harder to pin down the facts.
What about the bank account claims? You said she claimed it was seized or frozen.
Yes, but that story seems shaky too. Apparently, she first claimed she didn't know how much money she had.
Okay.
Then suddenly stated it was £170,000, and she denied the account was frozen.
But
one investor apparently told her they knew it was frozen because they had arranged for it to be frozen 6 months earlier.
wow. So caught in a direct contradiction, potentially.
Seems like it. And there were other alleged lies, too. about her own home address,
What about it?
claiming she owned a property worth over 100K, but actually it was apparently just rented.
And trying to blame one of the victims.
Yes, allegedly telling her own family that one of the main victims was actually the one behind the whole scandal. Deflecting again.
It's fascinating, though, how differently people caught up in this seem to perceive GD.
It really is. You have one person in the conversation, despite everything, who seems to believe GD was genuine.
Still,
Yeah.
after all the inconsistencies.
Apparently so. They think it kind of flopped, that she didn't know what to do. This person even says she's not a bad woman, that she hasn't scammed anybody.
This is quite a different take. It
Yeah.
shows how complex these situations are psychologically, perhaps, holding on to hope.
Maybe. Or maybe the power of manipulation, like you suggested earlier, because you contrast that sharply with the other individual in the audio.
And what's their view?
Absolutely convinced. They believe it was all a scam from day one, calls her a pure liar.
Do they have a theory about why? What the goal was?
Yes, they talk about a bigger plan. The theory is that GD is hiding the money somewhere.
Hiding it. For what?
Waiting for things to calm down, basically. Then the plan, according to this theory, is to leave the country with her daughter and live a lavish life on the hidden funds.
So two completely opposing views on her intent coming from people directly affected. That's stark.
It really highlights the confusion and the internal conflict victims must go through trying to understand what actually happened to their money.
So given all this confusion, the shifting stories, the potential lack of proof for cash, what are the victims actually doing? What are their strategies?
Well, proving things is a massive challenge, especially the cash.
Right, the bundles.
Exactly. One person mentions losing text messages because they changed their phone. Those messages could have been crucial evidence for the cash payments.
Oh, that's tough. A real practical difficulty.
It really is. It underscores how vital it is to keep records of everything in these situations, meticulous records.
Did anyone manage to keep good records?
Yes, thankfully. One person specifically says they kept all the conversations with her. They reckon they could print out about 1,000 text, excuses, lies.
1,000 texts. That's a lot of evidence.
Huge amount. And things like bank statements for the transfers, obviously. And one person even mentions having a video recording of handing over some paperwork. For legal reasons, presumably. Smart move.
So they have some evidence. What are they doing with it? What are the paths they're taking?
Several avenues. First, the banks. They're trying to go through official banking channels.
How does that work? Like reporting fraud?
Yeah, reporting the transfers, seeing if the banks can investigate or maybe even recall some of the funds. It's a long shot sometimes, but worth trying.
Okay. What else? Lawyers.
Definitely legal action. They've involved lawyers. This led to that 3-week deadline we mentioned earlier for GD to respond before court action.
And that's when she supposedly disappeared.
That's the story, yes.
Yeah.
Went quiet after that deadline passed.
So formal channels are proving difficult. What about working together?
That seems to be a big focus. They're actively trying to find other people who were affected. The idea is to help each other out, share information, maybe build a stronger case together.
Makes sense. Is there anything else? More unconventional methods.
Well, yes. And this shows the level of frustration. Some victims are planning to publicize Ghazala Din's face on social media.
Really? Just put her picture out there?
Apparently so. And they plan to leverage connections. One victim knows a famous Pakistani Naat singer.
A Naat singer? What's that?
They sing devotional poetry, often Islamic, and this particular singer apparently has a massive following.
Okay, so a huge reach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The idea is if they share it, the whole world is going to know. It's a pressure tactic, essentially, using public exposure.
That's quite a step. Are they also trying to dig deeper, find more info themselves?
Yes, information gathering is ongoing, trying to find the actual registered name of GD's company, for instance, or identify other people involved besides the two names mentioned, Rack and Graham.
Rack and Graham, are they associates?
They're mentioned in the audio. Seems like people connected to the operation, but details are scarce. They're also trying to trace any properties GD might own or find other associates, like a doctor friend who apparently has a surgery. It's like detective work.
You can really hear the toll this has taken, though. It's not just about the money, is it?
Not at all. The source audio makes that very clear. There's talk of deep emotional distress, even depression over the 3 years this has dragged on for some people.
3 years of uncertainty and lies.
Constant lies. As one person puts it, every time you text her, every time you phone her, it's a lie. Imagine the mental exhaustion.
Just the sheer exasperation comes through, dealing with someone so evasive.